the world, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, whatever your name for the sacred, you are very welcome to bring your full self here. My name is Ken Ettlinger. I'm a member of this congregation and part of our lay worship team called the Worship Associates. Today, we're delighted to have Rachel Milstead as our speaker. Ray is a seminary student at the Union Theological Seminary, pursuing a Master's of Divinity, hoping to become an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister in 2027 to 2028. That long. Before coming to Union, Ray received a bachelor degree in biology from Warner Wilson College and has several published writings in anthologies. In the free time, Ray likes to spend time with her partner and 4 pets and loves to go birding. Our pastor, the Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson, is in our pulpit about 2/3 of the Sundays. And the rest of the time we have guest speakers. Actually, Reverend Kimberly is with us, but she's actually managing the tech for the people at home on Zoom. So we can't see her, but she can see us. And she's actually just facilitating everything for the Zoom people who are home. Who are home. There are probably many people at home. Today, we are also fortunate to have Caroline Doctorow, a singer-songwriter and fellow member of this worship committee, congregation, and committee. She's a champion of American folk music. I was just listening to her album last night. It was really beautiful. Thank you, everybody who makes it possible by contributing your time and talent. Donna's with the camera. Of course, Reverend Kimberly is on Zoom as the tech. We have Carol Mason, who was doing hospitality this morning. And I bet, John, you probably contribute to hospitality too. And who else? There's so many people that do things. Anyway, thank you all. Are there any announcements? Good. Are there any visitors who would like to introduce themselves? Do we have any visitors today who would like to just yes? The area 2 weeks ago. Really? So we're years in mid-states, so we're happy to join you all today. Oh, well, it's great to have you. Welcome. Do we have any other visitors that would like to introduce yourselves? Yes. Yeah. And my father. Oh, very good. Welcome. Welcome visitors. Welcome new members of the community. That's great. If you're visiting, please sign our virtual guest book if you're visiting on chat or on Zoom. And someone from our Care and Connection team will be in touch with you. If you're visiting for the first time or the 50th time, if you're in agreement with our values, our mission, our UU principles, we hope you'll find a home here. You can also find a link for today's order of service in the chat on Zoom. Let's see. Please take a moment to greet the person or people next to you. Just a minute, but you can reach out and just do a very quick chat. Okay. Take it away.
There I'm sitting because, well, never mind. Let's see, does it go far? All right, can y'all hear me? Cool. Good morning, y'all. It is truly an honor to get to share these pieces of myself with you today. Last time I was a guest in your sanctuary, I spoke a little of my own grief. I shared the story of my youngest sibling, Haley, for Easter. It was my first time ever really talking about grief while in the pulpit, and I was really scared that it wouldn't go over well. What if those words weren't welcome? What if I don't have the right words to help others? So me bringing up my own grief is kind of just self-soothing. However, over the past year, I have guest preached in several congregations, and every time I do, I hear moments in passing where a congregant is experiencing the fresh guns on deer, the holy otherness of the first turbulent and terrifying waves of a recent loss. I see those in the crowd, and parts of my own story yearn to reach out and say, hey, I'm sorry I didn't talk about grief this time. But today is different. Today I'm going to share some of my own writing, published and unpublished, what I have learned from chaplains, ministers, congregants, and youth group friends over the years, and get into why it is important that we allow the grief our neighbors and ourselves carry into the spaces that we share. I hope that by me sharing these stories and experiences help at least one of you feel less lonely in your own grief. For our call to worship, I share this poem that I wrote 3 months after losing my youngest sibling and at the beginning of Lent of 2023. This is an unrequited apology to those willing to love deeply and want all things good in life. No one gives us an umbrella to shield us from the fearsome storms of grief inevitable on the course we have set. It would only wither and fray anyway, shredding to tatters in the gale, just the same as we feel our very souls shall rend, crumple, and disintegrate under the inestimable duress of our great loss. What solace, where shelter, when respite? Our pain runs as deep as our love, mighty, unyielding, and endless. And we can no more wish away our grief than we would ever dream of wishing away our love. So you keep your pithy umbrella and throw you deepest sympathies as something useful. Nothing short of everything, and no one short of the Spirit, could ever quench even the slightest drop of this pain. No. May the storm wreck me. May all my foundations be upended. May the pain, fear, and darkness overwhelm and entirely consume the me they was hold in. Else there only be brokenness left. Else only pieces of love remain, dimming to gray. But no. We shall grieve our great loves into eternity so that they may live forever, never to fall into the dimming grayness, and we shall not trade our pain for salve, for love lives in total embrace.
Rachel, will you read the opening chalice?
Yep. For our chalice lighting, I share the words from Katie Savani Gelfand, The Spirit of Water. That lighter doesn't like me. Yeah. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together, we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence.
Join me in singing Amazing Grace, and please stand if you're able. Number 206 in the hymnal. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining at the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise. The hour we first begun.
I didn't know the words. It turns out that it's a page before the page that we were on. I figured it was a different edition that you guys had. But that's beautiful, Caroline. Thank you. Okay, so Rachel will present the first message from Silence to Support, the call to share our grief.
All right. I've decided to lose my voice today, which is not great. But in 2017 and 2018, I lost my older brother and my father. Their deaths were 2 days shy of being exactly a year apart. In the first month of 2022, I lost my grandmother, and in the last month of 2022, I lost my youngest sibling and my uncle. Keep this close. Two of these losses were suicides. One was COVID, one was cancer, and one was due to years of drug and alcohol addiction. 5 days after my youngest sibling died, I started journaling almost daily, and I didn't stop this practice for almost 2 years. Today, I share bits and pieces of those journal entries. A couple weeks after the loss of my uncle and youngest sibling, I wrote, "In the freshness of grief, I feel like I came back to the person that's been looking back at me for years. So seemingly physical in appearance and yet so unreachable. I feel like I finally walked back into that one kind of dark and scary room at the end of a long hallway that I had been trying to avoid. I stepped back in front of the mirror in the center of that empty, smoky room, and I hit my hand on the mirror reflection, trying to touch the girl that I saw in front of me, because it didn't feel like a mirror anymore. It felt like I was looking at someone else. Yet I knew this person well. It also sometimes felt like a really somber night in a dimly lit grocery store of a tiny mountain town, where you run into someone you haven't seen in a really long time. After my brother's death in 2017, I swore that if I laid my body down on the church's sanctuary's floor, I'd deliquesce into nothingness, becoming dust because my soul felt so broken, tattered, and almost staticky, as if my soul was a TV showing the static screen and it was slowly running out of power. My father's death was complicated. I had gone no contact with him a few years before he died, due to years of abuse, and then him stalking me, forcing me to come out to him, and then not taking me coming out very well. During the first few months after his death, I struggled to find any sort of middle ground between feeling guilty for being sad that he was dead and feeling guilty for just how relieved I was that he was no longer here. At his funeral, a man had come up to me and asked me how I knew Steve, Steve being my father. So a strange man came up to Steve's daughter at Steve's funeral and asked how his daughter knew her father, which kind of summarizes our relationship. I also somehow inherited a donkey, the responsibility of signing the cremation papers, which I had printed out and scanned in my high school's library, and 6 months of debt callers calling me to see if I could pay off his debts. A practical lesson I'd like you to know from this grief journey around my father is that debt collectors are legally allowed to pester you for 6 months, but you are not legally obligated to pay those debts or pick up those phone calls. They will try to convince you otherwise. After my father's funeral, I had my mother drive me a couple hours up the mountain to a place called Chimayo, which is a place in New Mexico that is sometimes known as the only Catholic pilgrimage site in North America, but is also known as a place with holy dirt that heals and comes from the Pueblo native tradition. When you drive into the area, your phones stop working, the trees start to fill with rosaries, and the air smells like rain on sandstone. There is this room next to the chapel that is more like a small den-shaped corner with a low-hanging roof and nothing other than dirt and walls. That day, I had crouched into this corner, sat in the dirt, and broke. I still remember that cry. I was so confused and overwhelmed, distraught. It felt like I had run a marathon to myself and realized that it was horrifying to be in that much psychological pain. A year after Haley's death, my youngest sibling, I wrote a reflection about their funeral, saying that the maternal rage that seeped out of me when I realized just how harsh and cruel the world could be was a reflection of the pain I felt watching my mom shake and falter at the weight of the world shrinking around us both when I sat across the dining hall, watching in all the gut-wrenching heartbreak of my younger sibling's funeral. Except it wasn't just my mother who was wavering. It was a crowd of mothers watching as their worst fear hit way too close to home. I felt the wavering in my own bones. I've been through a lot of grief. And while processing what compiled grief feels like, and after losing many people within a short amount of time, I had shared to my therapist that I felt like there was this veil between me and my grief. And I felt like one day my brain was going to perform the whole yank the tablecloth out without the china moving magic trick that you see in comedy movies. Only the china had already been shattered and the tabletop was hollow. Here's the thing about grief. To call ourselves survivors of grief almost feels as if we got a participation award for the worst idea of a challenge. I did not want to succeed with my grief. Grief is not a thing that can be defeated or cured. Hell, you can't barely touch it, but it is always so very, very there. Today's service is for those who have experienced grief in any capacity. The messy, unfathomable, and inestimable duress of our great losses are a mirrored reflection of the deepness of our mighty, unyielding, and endless love for those we have lost. To the grieving, it is a gift to be you. It is a gift to know someone with grief. What I mean by this is that grief does not belong in quiet isolation. To feel as if you're a million miles away from yourself already, from the waves of grief, does not need the added feeling of being another million miles away from humanity because you feel that your grief is too heavy to be invited around to others.
Please join us for This Little Light of Mine. Number 118. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's sing the first verse again. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Rather than having a specific prayer or meditation, I thought I'd share some words from Andrea Gibson. Does anyone know Andrea Gibson here? She's a wonderful poet. Their words have given me a lot of safety amidst my own grief over the years. So, to those who feel their grief is too heavy for their friends and support systems, Andrea shares, "A difficult life is not less worth living than a gentle one. Joy is simply easier to carry than sorrow. And your heart could lift a city from how long you've spent holding what's been nearly impossible to hold. This world needs those who know how to do that, those who could find a tunnel that has no light at the end of it and hold it up like a telescope to know the darkness also contains truths that could bring the light to its knees. Grief astronomer, adjust the lens, look close, and tell us what you see." To those who are so incredibly angry at how much pain and loss this world is going through, whether that be for those in our families and friends, those in Gaza, those in hurricanes and floods, those who are trans and experiencing the full force of hate from our government, or just living in this world while it is honestly reaching a full climate crisis, yet also trying to find a way to still love this world we share, Andrea gives us, "I suppose I love this life despite my clenched fists." And to those who have shut or shunned their anger, rage, pain, or sadness out because they're often seen as too much in the social lens, I share Andrea Gibson's words. All of my pain is a spider I've learned not to crush. With the heel of my shoe, but to guide with a page of my journal into an empty glass, asking questions about its life, its purpose, as I walk careful out to the garden and rest it down on the earth. My pain, how happy it is to leave me whenever I treat it kind.
As we enter into this prayerful moment, we set aside the mundane as we share the deep joys, sorrows, and concerns of our hearts. Please come to the microphone, be brief, and folks on Zoom can let Reverend Kimberly know if you would like to speak, and she will unmute you in order to share your thoughts with.
What I have learned in the past 8 years. And the first lesson is the Victorian age grief and traditions. During my first year after my brother died, and right around the time of my father's death, one of my old ministers shared a mourning custom from Victorian England, where the first year women would wear all black. And then for the second year, they would start incorporating grays and lavenders to symbolize the gradual shift and lessening of intense grief. At this point in my grief, I was practically begging elders for answers as to what I should do to make at least some of this pain seem bearable. And somehow, me showing up to a random Sunday service and hearing about this Victorian age grief practice from my minister brought me a little bit of sanity. A year after my brother's death, I got my first tattoo, a delicate and thin-lined lavender plant etched with a mix of tattoo ink and my father's ashes. During that year, I had also fallen in love with the study of biology and learning about how our natural world works. A teacher shared that all of our cells recycle or regenerate after 7 years, so the cells that made you 7 years ago are no longer the cells that make you now. I had my father's ashes put into the tattoo ink in a symbolic gesture to take my control back from him. In September, it'll be 7 years. And to know that he has no cell in my body ever again brings me closure. The second lesson is that there is no room for judgment and grief. I have found from my experience of grief groups that humans are really good meaning makers, and we do really strange but special and sacred things when grief-stricken. We see things differently, we care about things differently, and sometimes we feel like we're trapped because we can't even describe how we are feeling. When my youngest sibling died, I went out and I bought myself the first Lego set I could find that had over 1,000 pieces. And I sat, trembling in my childhood bedroom, and I put that set together, piece by piece, as tears just constantly fell at a slow pace for the next few days. During these few days, I had friends stop by and sit on my bed and keep me company. I would barely speak, and I would just keep going at that Lego set. At one point, I discovered that a piece of the Lego set was missing, and I could not find it anywhere. I stopped building. I stopped crying. I looked up and I said, I feel insane. I haven't planned any funeral things, and nothing has stopped me from continuing to build this stupid Lego set until this missing piece, and now I'm angry. And one of my youth group friends who was sitting on the bed looked at me and said, Ray, there's no room for judgment and grief. Feel angry about the missing piece. My friend's assertion that there is no room for judgment and grief speaks profoundly to the fabric of our Unitarian Universalist community. In a world where our societal expectations often dictate how we should feel, grieve, or make sense of loss, this quote became a reminder to me that grief is an equally or uniquely personal journey. We each carry our own experiences, histories, relationships, and emotions, which shape our responses to loss. Not only that, but every single loss is very different. In our Unitarian Universalist spaces, it is paramount that we cultivate an atmosphere of acceptance and understanding. When we acknowledge that there is no singular right way to grieve, we invite individuals to share their authentic selves without fear of being judged or criticized. This acceptance is crucial because grief does not follow a linear path. It ebbs and it flows, often bringing unexpected waves of emotion, sorrow, anger, relief, or even joy. Each emotion is valid within our journey, and by creating a judgment-free environment, we allow ourselves and others to fully experience the depths of our grief. Additionally, this philosophy encourages us to remember that everyone's journey through grief is different. Some may find solace in communal rituals, while others may seek solitude or engage in creative expression. Some may be ready to share their feelings, while others may need space and time to process their loss. Unitarian Universalism teaches us the importance of empathy and connection, and when we remove judgment from the equation, we can better support each other. Ultimately, by embracing my friend's message, we create a space where grief is not just tolerated, but it is compassionately understood. By letting go of judgment, we learn to hold each other through the storms of loss, allowing sorrow to become a bridge that connects us rather than a barrier that separates us. The third lesson: grief is a lifelong journey. I have learned two metaphors to describe how grief feels from my time in grief groups. The metaphor of holding a penny for a lifetime, and the metaphor of the box with a button and a ball. I liked the penny metaphor better, but to say that grief is like a lifetime of holding a penny in your hand and never being able to put it down again. Sometimes the weight of the penny isn't so prevalent. You don't notice it. It's just a penny. Other days, it's the one extra piece of weight on top of everything else. And sometimes you want to put the penny down and feel just your body and the gravity, but you just can't. Sometimes I'd like to set that penny down and wash my hands clean of the metal copper smell. And maybe I think I can for a few seconds, and that might be just dissociation, but inevitably, that really annoying penny is still mine. The other metaphor is the box, button, and ball metaphor, as I often call it. You imagine a small box in front of you, and one of the sides of the box has a button inside of it that covers the entire side of that box, or that side. Within this box has a ball, and imagine that this ball is about the same size as the box itself. This box resembles you. The button resembles all the pain and sadness. And the ball resembles the things going on around you. Now imagine the box gets shaken up by life. And the ball touches the button and you feel that crumbling and harsh pain of grief. Now imagine the box gets bigger in size. The ball gets smaller in size. And the button doesn't take up so much surface space, but it's still there. This is how grief often operates. The button never goes away. There's just less of a chance for the ball to hit the button as often as it did at the beginning, when the box was small. But there's still a chance that on some random Thursday, years after the loss, you're watching a TV show, and that ball will hit that button multiple times in one day. And it's just a hard day. Whether it be these metaphors, other metaphors, or stories that you've lived with, or that you've lived with grief for a long time, You may already know that grief becomes a lifelong companion, and it doesn't really go away. There isn't really any getting over it when it comes to the grief. The pain and loss of joy that could have because someone who is in this world is now no longer in this world is unfathomable to our brains. Our brains don't understand it. But we try. We have so many ways that we try to think about this to give ourselves peace and protect ourselves, or to bring ourselves closure to the unending search of what's beyond life and where our lost beloveds went. My final lesson is, what is eschatology? Eschatology is a big word. But let us take a moment to reflect on these themes and on eschatology and grief, which are two areas of profound significance in our human journey. Eschatology is the study of what happens at the end of life and into the afterlife. And it often stirs questions within us. What happens after we die? Is there an afterlife? Do we simply cease to exist? In our tradition, beliefs about these profound questions are not dogmatic, but rather fluid and diverse. We celebrate and honor the rich tapestry of perspectives that span various cultures and religions, allowing each individual to explore their understanding. For many Unitarian Universalists, life does not conclude with a singular event we call death. Instead, we might embrace ideas like reincarnation or the concept of the afterlife as a metaphorical continuation of our existence. Some find meaning in the belief that our legacies, our actions, our kindness, and the relationships we foster continue to echo in the lives we touch even after we are gone. We might find ourselves reflecting on what it means to leave a mark on this world, to live a life that resonates long after our physical presence is no more. In some ways, I believe in what I call purgatory ICU. I don't believe in hell, and I really don't believe that no one gets saved over another person. Purgatory ICU, for me, is like a weird middle ground between life and afterlife, where our soul goes through like a hospital intake, as you would at a hospital here. And then you get a hospital bed and you get treatment and you have time to heal before you go on to the next life or heaven or whatever else is in the afterlife. I also, in some ways, believe that nothing happens after death, other than that our cells go to the universe as energy to make something else. And the being of us that was that collection of cells the being of us that was that collection of cells that make us was a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon that has come to an end. We all have our own theories, and I think the great mystery of the unknowing for what is beyond is both terrifying, yet also something that makes life so sacred and special. Rather than fixate solely on the unknowns of the afterlife, many of us focus on how we can bring meaning to our lives here and now. Our Unitarian Universalist faith implores us to engage in ethical living and to advocate for justice. We are called to harness our energies towards healing of the world, working together to make it a better place for future generations. In this light, our eschatological beliefs are often intertwined with our commitment to social justice and the well-being of all living things. As we navigate the terrain of loss, grief is an inevitable companion. In our communities, we recognize that grief is as varied as our beliefs about life and death. We understand that the experience of loss cannot be relegated to a one-size-fits-all approach. Grief is complex, and it's often unpredictable, encompassing a range of emotions, sadness, anger, confusion, and even the moments of joy as we remember our loved ones. Rituals can also play an important role in how we process grief. Some may find comfort in traditional commemorative practices, while others may forge their own unique symbols or ceremonies. Each act of remembrance, lighting a candle, sharing stories, or creating art becomes a testament to the enduring connection we hold with those we've lost. As we come together in our mourning and remembrance, Let us celebrate the rich, multifaceted nature of our existence. Let us recognize that grief, while painful, also carries the profound capability to deepen our connections with one another and cultivate compassion in our communities. And to anyone currently going through fresh grief, I wish you so many more better days than bad ones in your year of firsts. I hope that you see those really important and soft and homey memories of your beloved at times. I hope that when or if you light a candle to call your beloved spirit, the room somehow feels so much warmer and the flame burns just a little more brighter. I hope that you remember that one song you both shared a love for and you share it to others. And I hope that those people love you and the song for sharing a part of you that belonged to you and your beloved. I hope you still have late night one-on-one conversations where it feels like you could keep talking back and forth for hours until you pass out, fully feeling like you've processed some of the bigger universal thoughts, or you just laughed so hard for hours to the point that your abs hurt, because laughter is so incredibly important in grief. In closing, may we embrace the uncertainties of life and death with courage. Let us walk hand in hand through our grief, seeking understanding, healing, and hope. And as we gather strength from one another, may our shared beliefs guide us towards a more just and loving world, both in this life and whatever may come next.
Thank you for those powerful words, Rachel. Now you can rise as you're willing and able to sing in the blue or the teal hymnal, number 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companion, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Remain standing for Rachel's closing words. And then please join us after the postlude for fellowship and light refreshments in our fellowship hall. Rachel, will you give the closing words?
May it find us in the sunniest of fields. I will keep running from the daunting grief, but one day, may it find me in the middle of the sunniest fields on the most magnificent day. For the best days are the best days I wish they could experience. Alongside me and in this world again, the most. I dare the daunt of grief to come find me, and I know that it will find me. With the scent of pine and the whispers of the breeze, I'll welcome the memories that bring me to my knees. I'll hear their voices echo without needing words. As sunlight dapples down through the emerald canopy, I'll dance with the shadows, embracing my sanity. For in the warmth of this light, I'll remember them well, and each heartbeat of joy and the stories I'll tell, so let grief come as it may, a shadow in the glow. For every step that I take is a tribute, like each flake of snow. In this forest of sunshine, with love intertwined, I'll celebrate their spirit forever enshrined. Now we're going to extinguish the chalice.
Yes. The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of unity, or the fire of commitment. These we carry
in our hearts until we are together again.
Please remain, you can sit down.
Love is but a song we sing, fear's the way we die. Make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, and you may not know why. Let's sing this part together. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, and he will surely pass. When the one that left us here returns to us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Here we go. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Let's sing that one more time. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Right now, right now. Thank you. Are you coming to Doggy Park? Oh, yeah. Puddles, I have someone.